the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Saviour's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night divine. Led by the light of face serenely beaming, with glowing hearts by his cradle we stand. So led by light of a star sweetly gleaming, here came the wise man from the Orient land. The King of Kings lay thus in lowly manger, in all our trials born to be our friend. He knows our need. He guardeth us from danger. Behold your King, behold him lowly bend. Behold your King, behold your King, behold him lowly bend. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chain shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord. Oh, praise
Good evening and Merry Christmas Eve if you're watching on our Facebook Live, and if you're watching the recording of this service at any of the days to follow. Greetings and Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Transylvania County. I'm Elizabeth Conway Williams. I'm a member of the board and the service coordinator for tonight. We do have one special announcement. Please watch your newsletter for instructions to get slips of magic paper. Putting a lot of power in this paper because we'll need these the Sunday after New Year's, when we will write what we want to leave behind in 2020 and have a choice to either burn them in our own homes during the service or else turn it in the week beforehand, so the worship associate can collect them as part of the service ritual on the screen. Thank you for joining us in this sacred place during these troubled times, in a community consecrated by our presence and our commitment. We are a welcoming and inclusive congregation. We invite your participation and welcome you, whoever you are, without regard to your race, color, age, sex, gender orientation, politics, or abilities. We require no creed or particular religious belief, asking only that you bring your goodwill and an open heart. Our mission is to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and environmental justice. To any guests or newcomers we have with us today, thank you for taking a chance and taking the time to find us online and join us for worship. And to our members and friends, please use the chat to commune with each other, to reconnect as a UUTC family, and to express your appreciation. Our chalice lighting words are from the Reverend Dr. Dan Lambert, minister at First UU of the Palm Beaches in North Palm Beach, Florida. We gather together on this Christmas Eve as fellow sojourners looking for light, for hope, for peace, and for love. We gather as people from many backgrounds, many faiths, many cultures, and many spiritual paths. But as we light this chalice, we gather as one body, looking to the Nativity for its message to all humanity. Its message is that there is light, there is hope, there is peace, there is love. Now, Reverend Bob will explain our special service.
This evening's service may be different from what you might expect. We have a special collection. Then it'll be time to hear the story of the birth of Jesus as it was told in the Bible. Each Bible reading leads into a corresponding carol. Most are familiar to you, but one, Gather Round the Manger, is a newer one that we're including tonight, written by one of my colleagues in interim ministry. Families of this congregation, like me, have pre-recorded parts from their homes, reading the parts of the Bible that go with the story. We also have images and video to show from our safe distancing outdoor caroling event this month. We hope that this service provides the perfect answer to Christmas hubbub, a relaxed time where all can feel involved, even those who might be watching us here for the first time. A more informal time to hear the story, and a fun time of singing carols together in worship. At the very end, before the singing of Silent Night, we invite you to light a candle, and we'll show images of congregants holding or passing the light. And of course, we have special music from our talented musicians. It all dovetails nicely. we thank you for being here, for spending Christmas Eve online with our gathered community in worship. As our call to worship, I have the words of the Reverend Chris Rabel called Take Christmas. Take Christmas. Take the ancient, the medieval, and the modern. Take what is sacred and secular, solemn and silly. Take Teutonic evergreen and Persian sun and Druid mistletoe. Take Jewish flame and Greek feast and Roman present. Take a babe in the Bethlehem stable, surrounded by shepherds and kings with a brilliant star overhead. Take a Middle Eastern saint, transformed through the centuries into a red-suited elf with a sack full of toys and reindeer-drawn sleigh. Take music from as many countries as the imagination can grasp. Take Amal and Scrooge and Rudolph. Take lighted trees and punch bowls and greeting cards. Take mittened carolers and charitable gifts and candlelight services. Take it all, or any part of it. Take its light, its courage, its hope, its joy, its peace, its goodwill. Take Christmas. Take it if you will. But remember that you must first give something of yourself. Please join. In the first carol of this evening, number 244, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. It was written by a Unitarian minister, the Reverend Edmund Hamilton Sears. From Wikipedia, we learn that he wrote It Came Upon a Midnight Clear in 1849, while serving as a part-time preacher at a Unitarian church in Wayland, Massachusetts. Written during a period of personal melancholy, and with news of revolution in Europe and the United States war with Mexico fresh in his mind, Sears portrayed the world as full of strife and of humankind not hearing the Christmas message. The words will be seen on your screen.
These are the words of the Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, former president of the Starr King School for the Ministry affiliated with Unitarian Universalism. Perhaps it will happen this way. Someone will hand you a package. You will untie the ribbon of Handel's Messiah and Bing Crosby's White Christmas, tear off the glittering paper of department store windows and strings of colored lights, open the box of old cards, friends' names fading beneath sweet greetings, toss aside the tissue paper of stockings stuffed with oranges and candles lit in hope, and hold in your hands the desert at twilight, colors sinking across its sandy shoulders like a silk scarf tossed, stars skating too slowly to see over black ice, tracing elegant curves. The old-growth forest, new shoots springing from the root of stumps cut down, an ache transformed. 1,000 faces of human terror and human joy, singing. You touch it all, the earth, life, the evening sky. This is the gift. Open it.
We come to this time in the service in which I ask you for a special offering. This isn't the usual offering. This is not the time for you to be thinking of your check, which helps you catch up on your pledge payment before the end of the tax year, or just give some anonymous dollars randomly, just for the good of our congregation. No, there's a special collection that's taken only at the holidays. The minister's discretionary fund is separate from the regular budget of this congregation. And so we don't want the funds to get mixed up. And so we want you to be giving tonight or during this holiday week in a way that recognizes the special needs. It's said that this is a season of giving. It's also a time to recognize our great hopes that our love for all extends to everyone, and that each of us, at one time or another, faces the storms of circumstance beating at our doors. When people in need approach me as your minister to help them, we know that what we can provide does not substitute for the resources in the wider community. But I'm glad when I have the funds to give a little extra, respond and offer money. The generosity of this congregation meant that the ministerial discretionary fund was set up and funded by your charitable donations through the years. The fund is not for me. It doesn't go to me personally or professionally. Instead, it's like the old-time Parsons purse, an account that I access to respond to the financial needs of those here in our community. During the year, we expect some of the funds are distributed, and Christmas Eve is the main time when it is time to replenish the charitable fund or increase its capacity. I ask that what you give tonight and during the holidays comes with your blessing to be used for the charitable purposes of helping those in need, whether now or throughout the year. You will find instructions of how to click and donate. You can wait till the end of the service and look for the instructions again, or go online to uucy.org to find the way to click in and give. This is a special offering collected at this special time for those in need right here among us. We will now receive the offering for the charitable purposes of the minister's discretionary fund. Let us enjoy the music together.
Once in Royal David City stood a lonely cattle shed. enter, and to kneel in holy awe at that lowly stable manger, where the infant lay on straw. So may we this happy morn on every child that's born. From afar three magi journeyed to that stable rude and bare, to pay homage to the infant, offering gifts both rich and fair. So may we our gifts bestow, whether we be high or low. In that happy Christmas spirit, hear the angels from on high sing their ancient salutations. Joys our gift you cannot buy. So may we with heart that sings share the truth this season brings.
And now our presentation of the Christmas story begins. Isaiah 9, 2 and 6. The people that walked in darkness have seen a brilliant light. On those who dwelt in a land of gloom, light has dawned. For a child has been born to us, a son has been given us, and authority has settled on his shoulders.
Caesar Augustus.
That all the world should be enrolled. This was the first enrollment. The queerness
Yep.
was governor of
Syria.
And all went to be enrolled, each to his own city, and Joseph also went up from Galilee,
Mm-hmm.
from the city of
Nazareth.
To Judea, to the city of David, which is called
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, because he was of the house and
Lineage.
lineage of David, to be enrolled with Mary,
Mm-hmm.
his
Betrothed.
who was a child,
Was with child. It's you.
who was with child, and while they were there, the time came for her to be delivered.
Okay, pause. You have the baby. Okay, go ahead, Clint. Read the next sentence.
And she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes
Good.
and laid him in the manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
Gather round a manger, softly, softly. See the precious stranger. Sing hallelujah. Very gently hold you, softly, softly. Joseph's love enfolds you. Sing hallelujah. Through the eons reaching, Jesu, Jesu, love's great lesson teaching. Sing hallelujah.
And in that region there were shepherds out in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. And when an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with fear. And an angel said to them,
Be not afraid, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy, which will come to all the people. For you is born this day the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger.
And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly hosts praising God and saying,
Glory to God in the highest, and peace and goodwill on earth.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains
The shepherds said to one another,
Let us see this thing that has happened, that the Lord has made known to us. Let us make
haste.
They made haste and found Mary and Joseph and the babe
Lying in the manger. Yes. And when they saw it, they made known the saying which had been told to them concerning this child. And all who heard it wondered at what the shepherds told them. But Mary kept these things, pondering them in her heart.
Good night.
Chapter 2, verses 1 through 3 and 8 through 12. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judah in the days of Herod the king, behold, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. When Herod the king heard this, he was troubled, and he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word that I too may come and worship him. When they had heard the king, they went on their way, and lo, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then, opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. O star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh, prayer and praising all are raising, worship God most high. star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. There is mine its bitter perfume, breathes a life of gathering gloom, sorrowing, sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in the stone cold tomb. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night. Born a babe on Bethlehem's plain, cold I bring to crown him again. Love forever, ceasing never, in our hearts to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us through this perfect night.
I invite you to center yourselves for a child's prayer at Christmas. These are the words of my colleague from York, Pennsylvania, the Reverend Kate Bortner. O little one of ancient times, I hear your story and know too that I am a child of love and hope. Grant that my family may be safe, our home a shelter in times of trouble. May all children live in peace this night and in the year to come. May our laughter light the flames of hope in the hearts of our grown-ups, and grant the light from that flame will light our way into tomorrow. Amen. We will end our service singing with the baby safe and warm, surrounded by those who loved him. So Ban Fu says, when a child is born, they're bringing a gift from the spirit world that the community needs. But with each birth there are worries. Even thousands of years after the messages of peace and goodwill have been preached around the world, there are unsafe places where parents must flee with their children to find safety and start life anew. There are places we assumed would be safe, but find out later our sense of security shattered. I'm touched by the idea of vulnerability being so central to the idea that the messages of peace and goodwill come in the form of an infant child. We adults often defend our moments of vulnerability as if we must be strong in this world. The old hymn, "A Mighty Fortress is Our God," just doesn't work on Christmas Eve, because the birth of a child in a manger is so poignantly the opposite reality. So we learn as parents to protect our children and open ourselves to the wonder and the beauty that children see and convey, reminding us when we were that age. May we strive to keep aware of the vulnerability of each other, the need to be a community which helps support one another even as we also need support, not just in a selfish way, but one which recognizes the holy comes in many guises. And our principles call us to recognize the inherent worth and dignity of everyone, and that we're all part of an interdependent web of all existence. We must all look out for the best interests of the children in our midst, that they might thrive and grow to maturity and reach the full promise of what their lives might bring as a gift and a hope to the world. We've been reminding ourselves that in countries in Europe as well as our own, we should be keeping our doors open to immigrants of high or lowly birth, especially those seeking amnesty. Joy and hope are worthy lessons to sing and depict on the eve of Christmas, but let us not forget that hospitality to the stranger is also important, and care for those who need our protection. Christmas teaches us that. Just because we're distanced from each other during COVID-19 does not give us an exemption from our obligation to others or those in need, even as it makes it harder for us to see our neighbors. As our opening hymn from 1849 suggested, we don't live in a time when the messages of peace and goodwill have sunk in for all humankind. Our experiences in 2020 remind us of that. It reminds me that this is one of my favorite hymns, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, one of my favorite carols, because we must still listen for the angels' voices and their messages for us. In York, Pennsylvania, we get to hear the sounds of this carol and others drifting on the breezes at midnight when all the children are asleep and the house is silent. Through the clear night air, a factory steam whistle sounds, drifting in from downtown, and Christy and I throw open the sash and listen at midnight to the eerie wail of It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. I'll include an excerpt of that whistle wail in the benediction. But first, we must finish our biblical story and our candlelight Christmas Eve carol. The biblical story doesn't end the birth story in the quiet scene in the manger. Now, after this next scripture and any music, we immediately transition to singing our carol, Silent Night, and I hope you have a lit candle with you for that. As it's written in Matthew, being warned in a dream not to return to Herod, the travelers departed to their own country by another way. Now when they had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Rise, take your child and his mother and flee to Egypt and remain there until I tell you, for Herod is about to search for the child to destroy him. And he rose and took the child and his mother by night. Our benediction are the words of Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flock, the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among all the brothers, to make music in the heart. Blessed be, Amen, and Merry Christmas.